Alright, so this game says there are 3 recycling centers, 1, 2, and 3. Exactly 5 kinds of materials are recycled at these centers. GNPTW. GNPTW. It does say exactly 5 kinds of material are recycled at these centers. So, that means we have to use all 5 of these things, right? Okay? We have each recycling center recycles at least 2, but no more than 3 of these kinds of material. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to have 2 in every center, but potentially 3, right? So to show that, I'm going to do dotted lines here. So this is what's required. That's my max. Okay? Then it says the following conditions must hold. Any recycling center that recycles wood also recycles newsprint. Okay, so if you have W, then you have to have N. If you have N, do you have to have W? Nope, that's a false contrapositive. Every kind of material that center 2 recycles is also recycled at center 1. So if it happens here, then it happens over here. What does that mean about 2 and 1 in terms of numbers?
The numbers will be the same.
Or 1 can have more than 2, but 2 can't have more than 1.
Yeah, 1 can have more than 2, but 2 can't have more than 1. So, in terms of concrete numbers, what does that mean?
2 can have 2, 4,
Yeah.
3, and 1 can have 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 could have 2 or 3, and 1 could have 2 or 3. Yeah, so if 2 had 2, then 1 could have 2 or 3. If 2 had 3, then 1 would have to have 3.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Only one of the recycling centers recycles plastic. Okay, plastic goes only once. And that recycling center does not recycle glass. So plastic and glass never go together. Sound good? Okay. So if plastic goes only once, what do we know about plastic? It's not in 2, right? Okay. So P cannot go here. I don't know if you want to do it above or below, doesn't matter. I mean, I'll do it up here. So P does not go in 2, because if it did, it would have to go over here. That's not good, right? Okay? Does that mean the P does not go in 1?
No.
No, it could go in 1. If it did go in 1, where would it go? It would have to go in the bottom here, because you'd have 2 in 2, and then you'd have those 2 come over here to 1, and then P would be down here, right? And 2 would not be allowed to have 3, because if it had 3 at that moment, then those would kick out P. Sound good? Okay. Should we create worlds? Yes?
I tried to, but I did not get very far.
Okay, you tried to on the basis of?
P.
P, okay.
It's going to go into 1 or 3.
Okay, P is going to go into 1 or 3. It only is going to go once, right? So those are the only 2 options. I say let's give it a go. We'll see what happens. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then, well, let's hold off on that for a second. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. These are our groups. What am I doing? It's confusing. I might as well just write them all. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, either P is in 1 and is down here, right? You guys okay with that? Or P is in 3, in which case we don't care. Can we take either one of these worlds any further?
Yes.
Okay.
For the first one,
Yep.
we know that G has to be in 3.
Okay, excellent. So G can't go here, which means G cannot now go in 2, right? By the way, 2 is, this is like done. You can't put anything else in 2. And so the G has to go, and it's going to have to go in 3. Okay, good.
For the other one, G has to go in 1. It could also go in 2, but it at least has to go in 1.
Ah, okay, excellent. So if G goes in 2, then it goes in 1. Or if it just goes in 1, then it goes in 1. So no matter what, it's going to go in 1. I don't know what slot to put it in. I guess I'll put it up here. Okay,
That's as far as it goes.
that's as far as you got. So when you get stuck, what do you ask yourself?
Who's left?
Who's left? Who's left?
W.
W's left. Yeah. Anyone else?
M.
And
T.
oops, I didn't note my floater. Who's the floater?
T.
T. So T is our floater. We'll put that over here. Okay. So do we know anything about W, N, or T in these slots?
W and N have to go in 2 and 1
Okay.
because W can't go in 3. Oh wait, yes it can. Never mind.
W could go in 3. We could have one more here, right?
Yeah.
We could have one more in all of these actually over here. Okay, so W has to appear somewhere, and wherever it appears, N is going to appear. So we could have WN, WN. Do we have to have WN? No, we could have WN over here, right? What are the other options? Yes?
I have a question about one of the rules.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it says every kind of material that's center 2 recycled is also recycled in center 1.
Yep.
Does that mean that everything in 2 has to be in 1, but like exactly the same amount? Or does that mean it just has to include that? Like,
So yeah, let me see if I'm understanding you correctly, but if you have 2 things here, they have to show up here. If you have 3 things here, they all have to show up here. But if you have 2 things here, they would have to go here, but then you could have a 3rd thing that's, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the people that are left are W, N, and T. If W is here, then N is here, but W doesn't have to be here, yeah?
And does N have to go in 2 and 1?
N does. Why does N have to go in 2 and 1?
Because the P can't be with G. So the last 2 and 1 in that world are either going to be W and N or T and N.
That's right, because you couldn't have T and W, because then you'd have to have N as well, right? So no matter what, you're going to have N. So those 2 are N, which means these are what?
T or
T,
W.
T or W. So W or T, W or T. And then how about over here? Do we have to have N?
Could be T.
Could just be T. So kind of depends on what comes here. Whatever comes here, the opposite thing's gonna come over here. All right, how about over here? We can't have B or P, but we could have GT, WN. So there's a lot of options for that one. I don't know. They're kind of full. Carolyn.
Tired.
Oh, tired.
Yeah. Did I say something?
No, I just like to randomly call people to make sure everybody's participating.
Yeah.
Ben, why did
Yeah.
why do you have to have the second N under the second under
Oh.
2?
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
Well, because we can't have P. We can't have G, because if we have G, then it'll go over there and go with P. And G and P can't go together. And so then we're left with these 3, and if we have W, we have to have N, and if we have T, then we have to have N, because we couldn't have W, because then we'd have W and T. All right, 18. Or actually, I don't know. What questions do you guys want to talk about? Question? No. Questions we want to talk about?
20 and 21.
20 and 21. All right, let's go to 20. If center 2 recycles 3 kinds of material, then which of the following kinds of material must center 3 recycle? If center 2 recycles 3, then we're not in this world, right? So we're over here in this world. We have 3 things. We know G has to be a part of this list. So that means G must be over here because we have 3 things. These 1 and 2 are now going to be equal to each other. Are you cool with that? And so, anyways, so we have G. What else has to go over here? Do we know?
And
So we have G here, right? You're cool with that?
Oh yeah.
And these things are going to be the same. So what are some possibilities? We could do WN, right? WN, and then we could have T there. Could we have TN, TN?
Can you not be in that world? If center 3 recycles recycles glass, then you can't be within
Did I read this wrong? Center 2 recycles 3 kinds of material.
OJK. I was thinking one question.
OJK. 3 letters. We don't communicate in words anymore. Yeah, what do you guys think? We're trying to figure out who has to go and... Oh, we already know the answer. Stupid. If we're in this world, then it's P, right?
Yeah.
I was like, we gotta figure out more. They already asked us who's in 3. We have who's in 3, so done. Okay, 21. If each recycling center in Riverton recycles exactly 3 kinds of material. Oh, everybody does 3. Big party. Which one of the following could be true? Well, first of all, we know we're in this world because you can't have everybody doing 3 in this world, right? So we're in this world, which means we have G, P. Which one of the following could be true? Only, I have a feeling that we're going to make some inferences when it comes to N. Because if everybody's doing 3, what are some things that we know? Yes?
Only 2 and only 1 can't be a thing. Like, you can't have something only in 2 because it has to be in 1, and whatever's in 1 has to be in 2.
Yes. Then now these groups are equal to each other, right? So they both have G, and if they have W, then they have N, and if they have T, they have N. So these guys have N, and I think this guy is going to have N as well, because if you have W, you have N. If you have T, you have to have N, right? So everything has N.
But why, if you have T, do you have to have N?
Well, because you couldn't have W, because if you have W, you'd have N, and then you'd have too many. So over in this group, right, if I have T, then the only other viable thing is N, because W would require N, and G is not possible.
Yes.
Okay, so in my mind, I'm thinking I got N all the way across the bottom, and then I either have WWT or I have TTW, depending on whichever one goes where. Rich, you cool with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so which of one could be true? Only center 2 recycles glass. Nope, it would have to be, yeah, that's a problem. Only center 3 recycles newsprint. Nope, it's on all 3. Only center 1 recycles plastic. No, it's in 3. Only center 3 recycles tin. Yeah, that could be true. You could have tin and newsprint and then WWNN. So that's the answer. E, only center 1 recycles wood. No, if it's, yeah, like you were saying, it's got to be, yep. Cool. All right, any questions? Yes?
Is there any other way to set this up besides the world from basic?
Oh, interesting question. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's an efficient way to do this because I'm thinking W connects to N, right? So that's kind of big. We got to put W somewhere. If you put W in 2, then you know it has to be in 1. But if you put it in 1, you know that one of them has to be 2, but you don't know which one. And then you could put W in 3, but W could be in more than 1, 2, or 3. I don't know. Did you try something else?
No, I just want to struggle through.
Okay. The nice thing about P is there's only one of them, so cool. All right, any other questions on this game? Let me give you the homework.